Alright guys, this is Dylan with Checkmate Vanguard. We are here with Bilal, and what did you play last week?
Granblue.
Granblue, what kind of version?
Nitro slash Beatrice.
Nitro slash Beatrice, and you went 3-0?
Yep.
Pretty small locals, but still did work with this deck. Still got some dubs. And we're just here to expose it, get it out there. Everyone's talking about everything else that came out of client selection. And I just want to give some spotlight on this also. So, alright, start us up.
Alright, we got right here the Grade Zero starter.
Can be anything.
Anything, doesn't really matter. Then Protect 1. Nitrose, you like Protect 2, I just don't see
You never play Protect 2.
No. For Nitrose, no.
Okay.
Setup is 8 crits, usually, sometimes. Some people want to run a Scent, just so they can grab it from green shed. It's not bad. Then,
so that's 9 crit. That's 9 crit actually, because
9 crits, yeah. The idea, sometimes you run one 9 or 10, not over, because sometimes you want to see this, because this could be good for if you're not going first and your opponent hitting big numbers. Example, Genesis or anything that hit big first, because you could die without
so it swings hard before you get to the marker.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we got heals. Now, I know you guys are going to be upset because ideal, you want to see this. You want to use this. This is way better, but I didn't have it during the tournament, so I'm using what I use.
So you just forgot. Just simple forget.
Yeah, so this is the most ideal, just so you can combine with this. I'll explain it later, but it's the most ideal to have these than this.
Okay. Gray ones?
Yep. Now, ideal, you want to have 4 of these. Witch Doctor. Now, some people use 3. I use 4. And anytime I play Nitrose, I never see this. And I know people can use column board to grab it out. Sometimes you just don't see column board.
You want to prioritize seeing him first versus getting it through column board.
If you don't see this during your grade 3 turn, you lost.
Okay.
You lost. You cannot win.
And then
these 3, the new ones.
So what is that thing?
One place, put a Ghostie from the deck to the drop zone.
Okay.
That's it. And second ability, if the Vanguard is Ghostie, at the end of the attack, retire yourself and counter charge.
Okay, simple.
Very simple. Very good for a counter charge if you're on Ghostie. This does filtering, getting your dragon in the drop zone, or grabbing your Nitrose. That's really good in general.
Getting Beatrice's and drop.
Yep.
Versus the damage zone.
Column board, there's no explain.
4 of.
You just need it.
Okay.
Like, this is the best grade 2. Way better than Night Mist. That's the best. For green shed, it's not bad. It's ideal using to grab a Nitrose from drop or a trigger from drop to just defense. That's really it.
It just grabs the missing pieces and shield value. Okay.
Now, we got 2 Ghosties. Ideally, you want to have Ghostie on round, because the reason I have 4 of these, because I want to see on my first grade 1 turn, then calling this out to put this in a drop and calling it for more hand, because Granblue, you just don't get that much hand at all, nothing. So you could lose on, that happened to me a couple of times, probably happened to other Granblue players. You just want to see this and drop as soon as possible, so you can feed your hand with cards.
Combo with other revivers.
Yep. I play a 1 of.
So that's your 1. That's a 1 target for the grade 1.
Not bad. You get from drop, retire 2 rear guards to call it, and when it attack, it get 5k. At the end of the battle, it'll retire himself and counter charge. This is really good card. You need this.
It doesn't matter what your Vanguard is either.
So this is honestly not bad. Also, you can combo off if you already rest 2 rear guards for mill 5, then retire those 2, put more in drop for your dragon, and you can counter charge. Really good card.
Okay.
Grade 3, 4 Nitrose.
Got run 4.
2 dragons and 2 Beatrice.
Okay.
This is the most ideal setup for Nitrose. This first grade 3 turn, if you don't have enough hand, have 2 Ghosties to call. Ghost Ship. I mean, it's basically the whole idea of this gaining more hand because imagine you're attacking 4 times with this and then attacking with this. That's 6 in hand. You're gaining 6 from 1 counter blast or 2 counter blasts.
Okay.
Or also soul blast. 1 counter blast and soul blast, or 2 counter blasts with column board.
Okay.
Combo wise, you want to see this and drop and see.
A column bard.
Yep, those 2 you need because this is making sure your opponent can damage lock you, and this is just like putting stuff in your drop to call stuff from drop. It's the most ideal combo ever for it.
So what would have normally been 2 counterblasts now is a counterblast and a soul blast now. So
I don't run the grade 1 where you call from drop, soul blast, you draw a card, because you're only gonna play around with 3. I don't like that because sometimes you have this in hand, because sometimes you don't have column board and you need stuff in drop. So you call this from hand, use this skill, get this, use column board skill, counterblast 1, put a ghost ship or dragon and drop, and call it over this to be back here because you can use this. You can use this over and over and over.
the gist at the end of the day is that when you get to Nightrose turn, you want to see Columbard and Beatrice in the drop.
So sometime with some plays, you're saying this because sometimes you just don't get Nightrose. Unlucky. It happened to everyone. But it's not bad. It's just for defense because ideal, you can just do this or have a ghost because when something retire himself, you can call a Ghostie from drop. And then that's 1 counterblast. But when this attack and retire himself, this countercharge, and you can use this skill again to.
It's a free callback.
Yep. Also, these can intercept now. The grade 1s and grade 0. So the whole idea is using any cards that retire themselves without Nightrose's ability to get all the way to the grade 0. Then attack with the grade 3. Feed all the triggers here. Feed all the power here, and if you get a crit, feed it to dragon. Attack with dragon. This retire himself. Attack with this if you get any power, and your opponent turn. This will just be out here, so you can intercept 25. That's just amazing. This is just more defense wise.
Okay.
For it to be a Vanguard.
And that's why it's more important to run that Ghostie versus the other heal trigger. Okay.
So.
I want to talk about real quick why you run 4 bone. So is there a reason why you run 4 bone versus 3 when you could send off of like Columbard or anything else like a?
Because sometimes you only have 4 Columbard, and imagine if you don't see this, because if you don't have enough in drop, you're gonna lose. I just don't see you winning with 0 in drop and having Nightrose. And sometimes with my gameplay, I just don't see these or Nightrose. No, not Nightrose. Columbard. I don't see those 2. So it's just be unlucky, and I just like lose the game. Following turn, I see this. I'll be fine.
You just want to do double that by the time you get to the first grade 3 turn.
Yeah.
Or maybe even a 3rd time, even. But
sometimes.
But you know what you can do eventually. By then you can see the grade 1 Ghostie, call it out, and then dump the grade 2, and then sack off your 2 skeletons or your 2 skeleton rest targets, and then you got an attacker then. So
and you can countercharge because
right.
of Columbard or because of Ghostie.
Would you consider bumping like Skeleton Dragon to 3 in the case you can't do the Skeleton Dragon multi-attack turn?
I just don't see a reason to.
Because
like,
the ships fill the same purpose?
It basically does, because let's say you only have 1 dragon for some reason and the other dragon is in damage. It happens sometimes. Hopefully you get healed or not. This is hitting 29. That's pretty big. Because if your opponent is at 13 or 12, they still have to block 20. They have to block with a 25 shield to stop that.
So what does that become when you boost it with something? It's not just 29 then, right? So it's 13 plus 29.
That's 41.
So 42.
Oh, 42. Yep.
It's a pretty good number.
That's way bigger. They have guard more than 2.
That's 2 cards of guard right there.
Yep.
So either way, they're gonna drop 2 cards of guard on Dragon or just take it, and so that this serves just as good, honestly.
Plus more in hand, and then you're already having the protect 1, so you like really don't have to worry about stuff. protect one, or even if you want to play defense, have green. Just call out green shade, and then just grab this from drop. Likelihood you will have this drop. Ideal you want to have two of these, but you just have enough in hand for your next grade 3 turn.
You could just keep recycling that with Great Shade, ideally, you know. But okay, do you have any other words to say about your deck today, about how it performed, or any other things you would give tips or advice to new people that are trying to try this deck out, give it a shot?
You gotta check your drop zone constantly. That's the best advice. You have to check what's inside and drop to know what you can do for your next turn. Because imagine you guard with the grade 1 that you need. For example, the Ghostie, because you don't see a grade 3 Beatrice. You need that. So you have to just constantly check over your drop zone. That's the most ideal. Like, that's the whole thing about Granblue.
Just gotta keep dumping and you gotta keep mining your resources.
Yep. That's
Okay.
really it. Just keep checking your drop zone every time.
You got any shoutouts?
Shout out for Nick. He gave me strats of Granblue, even though I was surprised the whole grade 3, constantly like recycling to grade 2 to grade 1 to the grade 0 heal. So shout out for Nick for helping me out.
Okay. This is it. This is Bilal playing Granblue, and this is Dylan with Checkmate Vanguard. We will see you all later.
Thanks for watching Checkmate Vanguard. Consider subscribing and liking the video, and look forward to more matches from us.